Todd's adventure in Slime World was developed by Epyx in 1992. It was released on the Atari Lynx, Sega Genesis, and the PC Engine, but today we'll just be focusing on the Atari Lynx version as it was the only one that I had. Slime World is an action-adventure game about a spaceman named Todd who crash lands on a world completely covered in slime. Armed only with the Super Soaker, trademarked, Todd must explore the deepest, dankest, stickiest regions of the planet in order to find a way back home. At first glance, players may just brush Slime World off as a Metroid clone, and honestly, I can understand why. The two games share many similarities. Large caverns for you to explore, item collecting, and auto maps. But if you look past these things, you will find that Slime World is a completely different experience. For example, there are 6 worlds for players to explore, each one having their own unique maps and dangers. Easy is exactly how it sounds. Great for beginners that introduce players to the mechanics of Slime World gradually. It gets harder the further you get, but it doesn't match the insanity of the other worlds. Exploration forces players through a massive map that is wrought with hidden pathways and powerful enemies. This is one of the largest maps of the game and can take upwards to an hour or 2 to complete. Action pits players against the horrors of Slime World. Again, you're thrown into a large, unique map, but this time there are more enemies, more one-hit kill traps, and more room for error. Suspense is a nail-biting race against the clock. Slime World is melting and you have to escape before the clock hits 0. Luckily, you'll find magic mushrooms along the way that will increase the timer by 1 minute. Unluckily, this is the most confusing world in the game and has several different pathways, many of which leads to dead ends, forcing players to backtrack and waste time. Logic is the hardest of the maps. In this map, you'll be forced to escape Slime World with just your wits. Your gun has been rendered useless, and you must now time every step lest you perish in a burst of slime. This map is known for its criminal use of the enemy known as the Trapper, something we'll discuss down the line. Arcade is all about the high score. You get 1 life and the goal is to get as far as you can in 1 shot. This mode is basically all about trying to beat your own personal score and show the game who's boss. There is a 6th world, but that is restricted to multiplayer. This was a pretty revolutionary thing for its time, for it allowed up to 8 players to go against one another at the same time. The combat map gives players 5 lives and pits them in a medium-sized world full of weapons, traps, and other slime hazards. Players can also grab the slime gun, which will be used to kill each other, with the last one remaining as the winner. Now these worlds are not empty, not by a long shot. Along the way you'll be encountering a wide variety of horrible monsters that will do everything in their power to get in your way. Sure, a majority of them die with 1 hit, but that means nothing if their blood touches you. Classified as boogers. No, seriously, this is what they are called. The blood of your enemy is poisonous to the touch. You see, Todd doesn't have a life meter. Instead, his health is determined by how much slime he has covered in. This sticky substance clings to every part of his body, and if he doesn't clean himself in time, he literally explodes in a rain of boogers and goo. If that wasn't bad enough, some of these enemies are lethal to the touch. These blood types are easily recognizable by their crimson color. Now they act just like their slime counterparts except for one very important detail. Their boogers are fatal to the touch. It doesn't matter if you're fully shielded or clean as a whistle, 1 drop and you are dead. Then you have these other enemies that are just a pain in the ass. You have these spiders who serve more as a distraction than anything. Green spiders stain your skin with slime, while brown spiders block you from bending over. This means you cannot pick up any items, and the only way to get rid of them is to jump into a pool of water. Then you have these strange spitter bugs that spray you with boogers, and then drippers who follow you around, dropping their essence onto your head. Now you have these weird mini-boss things. I really have no idea what the hell they are, but there's always 4 of them, and they make these terrible crashing sounds as you fight them. Once you defeat them, you have to kill this pink thing in the center of the room. Doing so usually unlocks a hidden passage that acts as either a shortcut or leads to a room of treasure. And finally, we get to the Trapper. Now, for those of you who have played Slime World, you know exactly what this thing is. In fact, I am sure that many of you guys are still traumatized by the sound these things make. That sound has been so ingrained into your subconscious that every time you hear it, you are immediately brought back to the first time you encountered one of these things. You see, trappers are the ultimate jump scare. After a certain point in each level, players will start encountering the trapper, and the moment that they do, all bets are off. You start questioning every step, every jump, every move in the game because you no longer know where exactly one of these monsters will pop out. Trappers are these Venus flytrap-like beasts that can kill you instantly. They can be anywhere on the floor, usually hidden in slime pools, but they can literally be anywhere. You'll be walking along an empty corridor, happy as can be, when suddenly... And it's not just their attack that gets you, it's that sound. The music is so calm and serene. Even when there's a bunch of enemies all around you, it's relaxing, almost soothing. When out of the blue... I haven't played Slime World in about 10 years, but while recording this footage, all the memories came flooding back. Those jaws, that sound. It is just as if I was reliving my childhood nightmares all over again. To this day, I still jump whenever a trapper pops up. What makes it worse is the fact that if you run into your first trapper, you start doubting everything. Every stretch of land, every small pit becomes the ideal location for another one of these beasts. The tension just grows and grows until you can't take it anymore. It's maddening! Luckily, you are not without weapons. You are equipped with your water pistol, which kills almost every enemy with one hit. Along the way, you'll find new weapons and items to help you out. The most common of which are the slime shields and the gun upgrade. The slime shield instantly cleans you of slime while also protecting you from any green goo that you come across for a short period of time. The gun upgrade increases your firing rate from 1 squirt to 3. Very helpful when clearing out a room full of enemies. You'll also find Cleanser, which turns any slime pool into water, Slime Bait, which lures enemies towards it, and a Mega Bomb, which destroys everything in a room. Finally, we have gems. The blue gems heal you a little bit at a time, whereas the red ones act as mini slime shields. However, you have to be careful as the red gems are fragile and can explode when you shoot them. So let's just make everything clear. Not only do you have to worry about slime, monsters, trappers, and blood boogers, but you have to watch out for the very items meant to help you out. And people think Dark Souls is relentless. Good God! This is a fantastic little game that holds up very well even after all these years. The difficulty is just right, giving players several checkpoints and allowing them to learn from their mistakes rather than constantly punishing them. Each map can also take upwards to an hour to complete, which makes this, at the very least, a 6-hour game. For a handheld from 1992, this is very impressive. For a handheld game in 1992, that is very impressive, and it still holds its entertainment value to this day. I've always enjoyed Slime World, and I found myself playing it for hours after I was done recording this footage. That tells me even after all this time, the game is still fun to play. And if you ever get a shot at playing this game, whether it's on the Sega Genesis or the Lynx Atari, I'm sure you'll have a great time. So there you have it, Slime World for the Lynx Atari. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Mazer, and I will be seeing you next time.